Hello, hello. I am excited to be here with you today to talk about a really important topic for entrepreneurs. And I am going to, this is, I think, my first or second live. So I am going to try to see if you have comments or in the chat. Um, Make sure that you do put questions and comments in the chat, and I'm going to answer questions at the end if there are any. And I want to, let's see here, just want to make sure. Okay, so the live chat, I think, is open. So, welcome. I'm Wendy Gunn, if you haven't met me before, and I am an empowerment coach. And I have not always been someone who achieved goals or was organized. I used to be very disorganized and I didn't know how to use time, and I would start many things and not finish. And I was severely, extremely obese. And then one day I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And that was the day that before and after life changed for me. And I realized that God had uniquely created me for a purpose. And He was writing a story in and through my life. And ovarian cancer usually kills. It's called the silent killer. It's not usually caught early and therefore it usually kills. But I am a walking miracle. And in 3 days after my diagnosis of two football sized tumors within me, and they thought it had spread, thought it had not been caught early. 3 days later, I had surgery, which in itself was an act of God, and so many prayers had gone up, and they found one, only one, contained tumor, still football sized, but contained. And they were able to remove it. I had chemotherapy, and almost 22 years this month, 22 years later, I am cancer free. So I knew that day God has a unique plan for me. Now, you also, God has uniquely created you for a purpose. And that became my passion to share with you. Have you ever wondered, what is my purpose? How do I find my purpose? How do I accomplish what I'm supposed to accomplish in a day, in a week, in a month, in my life? I'm going to talk about this. This is a series on entrepreneur life management, organization, time management, prioritization, how to get it all done, how to find time to get it all done without losing yourself or your mind. And this is going to be an ongoing series for a while. There's a lot to cover. So today, prepare to take notes, and I hope that this will be really helpful and practical to you. And we're going to dive in pretty much because there's so much to cover. And I've already said it was crucial for me. What happened after that life and death experience, pretty much, is that I began to achieve big goals. The next year, have you ever had the sense that I have got to change? I'm desperate for change. Have you ever felt that way? That is a good place to be. And with that, the next year, I was desperate to get healthier and I lost 50 pounds. And have you got a goal in your life that you think, if I could achieve that, anything is possible? That was that goal for me. If I could lose weight, I could do anything. And God allowed me, helped me to lose 50 pounds the next year. That was the first domino falling. Over the following years, I have successfully created an online business. I have grown my email list from 0 to 12,000, over 12,000 in just over 2 years. And I have a 37% open rate. And the industry average, if you're not familiar, is about 18 to 20%. And those two last goals, the starting my business and growing my email list, occurred after the age of 60. I lost another 50 pounds after the age of 60. If you're feeling like I'm too old to do this, I'm too old to do that, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60, you are not too old. I want to be an inspiration and an encouragement to you, and I hope that I am. And this is the place to be if you want support, if you want practical tips and implementable tips and tools to achieve your goals and your purpose and to use your time better, more wisely. And I hope we're going to make some assumptions, but I'm going to talk more about each of these things. First, it's so important that you know who you are. You can write 5 adjectives about who I am, who I've always been. Finding out who you are helps you find your purpose and fulfill it. And you want to find that in order to really reach your ideal clients with your secret sauce solution in your business. You have something important to give that they need, but you will burn out if you are just doing any old thing. And if you think that you can talk to everybody, you've heard it said, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one. How I have been able to grow an email list and with such a high open rate is you are talking to one person in your emails. One person opens an email. So that is your person. That is who you're talking to. Then you want to be planning. And I don't know if you can see the back here. Pray, prepare, plan, prioritize. Those are the first 4 things. I'm a Christian entrepreneur. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. Praying gives me clarity on what it is that I should do today or this week or this month. What goals should I be setting? Praying first and being in the Word is the most important thing for me to do as a Christian entrepreneur. I'm going to assume that you are planning, but if you are not, Benjamin Franklin said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You need to be planning, writing it down. There's something that happens also when you use pen to paper that doesn't happen any other way. So I encourage you to do that and plan at least weekly. But I recommend planning daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, and dreaming out 3 to 5 years, 10 years. What's your bucket list? I encourage you to have dreams. One of the other big goals, big dreams that I was able to achieve was, well, we've raised our children to adulthood. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a family, that's one of the challenges is how to get it all done when you have personal and professional goals and you have all this life going on. And as a female entrepreneur, I recognize and understand that completely. And so it is so important to take the tips that I'm going to give you and apply them. But we were able to raise our children to adulthood, and they are people we love and who we're proud of. They're walking with the Lord. The Bible over and over talks about, and I will use scripture unapologetically throughout because God, His word is so important, and He is Lord of my life, and He directs. So I hope He's Lord of your life as well. But in Deuteronomy, He talks many times about how to teach your children in the morning and as you're walking in the way and as you go to bed at night and all day long. And we were able to incorporate that into our lives. And we homeschooled start to finish. I was able to finish that goal and then have a relationship with our kids as adults. And we had this dream trip together. I saved miles with my credit card for years. We had a dream trip in 2018 with our grown children to Italy. That gives me goosebumps when I think about it. That may be a dream of yours, and it's a wonderful dream. I have many more places I want to go on my bucket list, and I'm sure you do too. So share if you have dream destinations. So I am assuming and I'm recommending that you are planning. You need to pray and plan, and you will be so much further ahead if you can do that and pray, prepare, plan. So, mentally, your mindset is so essential in most everything. And I want to help you to have a positive mindset and to believe that you can accomplish what is important, that you can do the things that are on God's list for you. Have you ever thought, what's on God's to do list for me today? Have you ever thought that? I hope that you are thinking that and asking Him, what's on your to do list for me today? Practical things, write that down, do it, and then plan at least weekly. I plan the Friday or Saturday before the next week, which gives me time on the weekend to get things in order or prepare so that I can hit the road running on Monday. And I follow a power planning um, routine that I got, and I encourage you to have business coaches and personal mentors in your life. And Ruth Sukup is one that I have had, and she has taught this system of planning, and I have followed it for years. And you want to have an A list of you brain dump first everything that you think you want to accomplish this week. And then you put an A next to the most important things, the things that are going to move that needle forward a little bit, and especially in your business. And then B list are the things you should do, those appointments that you really know you have to do. And you are going to be able to accomplish those things in, and I hope I didn't knock you all off here, that you'll be able to accomplish the important things first. You'll have one big goal for the week, and then only 3 or 4 additional A's. And you're going to list all the things, but then you're going to go A, B, C. The B's are the things you have to. You have to get your kid to this appointment. You have to, go to an eye doctor or whatever. Those are the things that are B's, but they are on the list. And so you list those. And then the C's are things that you would like to do if you have time. You go through all of your brainstorming and all the things written down. And then I recommend, so then you're going to take it to a weekly calendar. And in that weekly calendar, I recommend batching and time blocking. And I'm going to just do an overview today. I will be doing these weekly or every other week, and stay tuned for additional YouTube tutorials because this is a big subject and we can't cover everything in one session. But time blocking and batching are life changing. They have been life changing tools for me. Time is a tool, isn't it? I want to um, share a quote. So, oops, I can't find my quotes. Okay, maybe I won't share a quote. Um, there are quotes for. Oh, did I lose you? I'm so sorry. Hold on. Okay, there we are. Um, I will try to get those quotes because I suddenly. Oh, here we go. I found it. Don't expect perfection. That's going to come later, but I am exemplifying it right now. Do it now. Do it imperfectly. It can always be tweaked and improved. So, I want to share you can do two things at once, but you can't focus effectively on two things at once. That's Gary Keller. And then don't make the same decision twice. Spend time and thought to make a solid decision the first time so that you don't revisit the issue unnecessarily. That's a quote by Bill Gates. How many of you have decision overload? That is something that I think many entrepreneurs have. This is hopefully going to be a helpful series for you that will eliminate decision overload for you. So much of the stress that we have is what should I do now? Should I do this or that? Which thing is most important right now? Deciding every day, minute by minute, and we don't have to do that. So, what batching and time blocking does is, and planning ahead your week, you can have a block of time. You're going to look at your A list first. You're going to put it into your weekly schedule and you're going to time block. You're going to, and batch, for instance, if you have emails to write, you're not going to just write one, you're going to write several if possible. And you're going to block out time. Once you're in the zone and you're in the mindset of writing, it's much easier to keep momentum going and get it done and get several done. So block out time for that and put margin on either side of it. Dr. Donald Swenson wrote the book Margin, and I heard him in person speak years ago. And both personally and professionally, that is a life changing tool. You must put margin in. That's like the white space around the print on a page. You will not be able to plan every single second of every single day. You can't do it. Your body will come back and get sick or demand it'll break down because you need breaks. And things always take longer than you think they are going to. So plan space around your different blocks of time. And then I have found batching days. For instance, if it's Monday, I'm writing emails. Having a day of the week that is assigned to a certain task. This goes for your work, your entrepreneurial efforts. If it's Tuesday or Thursday, I'm doing YouTube videos. I often do batching of recording YouTube videos for my YouTube channel on Saturdays because they're a freer day for me and I can spend a longer block of time without interruption. There's no meetings or that kind of thing. So I will have different outfits hanging ready, different jewelry ready, and then so I can have changes of clothes. And I will have an outline of what the topics I'm going to cover. And I have a monthly theme. And then I will sit down and record one after the other. And I like to be a month or two ahead. And so batching like that, you get into a real rhythm. Have you noticed that? Have you ever felt like, I'm in my groove? I'm really getting stuff done. That's because we are meant, I don't know what that scientific principle is. That's not my strong suit, but that a thing in motion stays in motion unless something outside stops it. That's my murdering of that quote. But it's so true. So, what are your responsibilities as in the home and as an entrepreneur? And then, do you have children? They should be taking part and you should be delegating to them. They should have jobs. Anyone who is under your roof should have jobs and the chores divided up. And don't try to do everything at once. If I learned years ago to divide up the cleaning. We would clean from Monday to Friday, and then it was done by Friday when my husband came home from work. And I wanted the weekends free. But I learned years ago if I dusted on Monday, that was plenty good for company on Saturday. When you have company or you have people coming over, they don't care. They're not going, did she clean today? They aren't. And then I recommend 3 times a day to pick up. Decluttering is to keep things up is so important. And so in the morning and before bed are 2 of the times. Right after breakfast, picking up 15 minutes. It's just 10, 15 minutes each of those times. And then sometime again during the day. For us, again, when I had children at home, right before dad came home from work, we would spend 10 or 15 minutes picking up. What that does, you have just spent 45 minutes picking up every day. And over a week, that's hours. So it also is a mindset shift because now you know you're going to be having to pick that up. So you're not as likely to just leave a mess because you know you have to pick it up anyway. And then I always say, when I would clean up my kitchen right after supper or before bed, the next morning it smiled at me. Does your kitchen smile at you in the morning? It is such a great feeling to have that. And then set a timer because you might think, oh, have you ever thought, oh, I'm going to put that off. I'm going to procrastinate doing that because it's such a big job. I recommend timing yourself. I years ago used to think that unloading and loading the dishwasher was such a huge job. I put it off. I procrastinated. And then one day I timed myself and it took me about 10 minutes. And I was shocked. And so if you have 10 minutes, you can get so much done in 10 minutes. Just spend 10 minutes. Set a timer. Don't wait till you have time to do the whole job. Just do a little bit of it. So then, time blocking. If you have set aside time to write emails on Monday and something comes up that you want to do instead, or another um, responsibility, maybe there's a meeting that comes up a training you really want to attend. When you have time blocked and you've allowed margin around that, you can take that block of time and you can move it to another day of the week and switch. But you have to have blocks of time that don't have anything in them. I usually plan not to plan things in the evenings and have for years, unless it's maybe 1 or 2 commitments a week. So that means if I have not been able to get to these things during the day, and perhaps my family wanted to take advantage of a gorgeous day and do something, I am free as an entrepreneur to do that. That is the glory of automation and time blocking and batching. So I can go out and have fun. And maybe in the evening, I can write emails or another time during the week. So use your calendar, use time blocking, use batching to help you to live, to make a life and not just a living. So, okay, so then, cleaning, we talked about cleaning and laundry and cooking and all of that kind of thing. I spread it out over the week, as I said. So we would do 45 minutes to an hour, my kids and I, just spend a certain amount of time. One day was dusting, one day was vacuuming, one day was, bathrooms, and divide up what you want to do across the week. And then have things that you don't, there are things that you do seasonally. Plan them when you're going to do them, put them on your calendar, and just have a plan. And then you don't have to be feeling like, oh, that garage needs cleaning because it's on. You can just say, tell yourself it's scheduled. I'm going to be doing that. I don't have to worry about that now. The guilt is such an energy taker. So the more you can get the guilt off, the better. And that planning is how you do it. And then when you're batching, cook once, have a scheduled time cooking and freezing for later, cooking and freezing to make crockpot meals. Do your research before, prepare, plan ahead, get the recipes, and then block out a time and make a whole bunch of meals at once. You will be so thankful to yourself for doing that. And then time management depends on making wise decisions and prioritizing well. And I said, pray, prepare, plan, prioritize. You can be accomplishing tons, but if you are not getting the things done that are important for you, you've wasted your time. You need to figure out what's your purpose and do that. You need to find out what is God's will for your life and your business and do that. It requires continual looking to Him, praying and being in the Word and thinking. I journal. That's how I process, but I also have an app that I'll share with you that's called 6,000 Thoughts. That has allowed me to talk out. I record, and then it analyzes and gives me insights into what I've just shared and tips and ideas. It's kind of a cool app. So I recommend it to you. It's called 6,000 Apps, and that has really helped me. But it doesn't replace the Bible and prayer. And then, so important, seek progress, not perfection. Do I have any? Have you ever been a procrastinating perfectionist like me? I was for years, and I still can be, but most of the time now, I'm a fast action taker. So, how can you? I've given you a couple tips already on how you can overcome procrastinating perfectionism. One, time the job that you think is so big. Two, don't try to do it all at once. Break it down and just time yourself and spend 10 minutes on it. Three, plan and then delegate and then just do it. And again, another tip, if it can be done in 2 minutes, just do it now. Just do it now. Don't even think about it. And then every time that you walk into a room or open a drawer or a cupboard, wait, before you close it again or leave that room, leave it just a little bit more organized than you found it. This is one of I learned that from a woman who was She and her family had a lot of home businesses, and they had, I believe, 15 children and lived in a not very big house. And she taught time management. And so that is a tip that has served me well for many, many years. So, example, you open up the silverware drawer, you see those crumbs, you just wipe out the crumbs before you close it. And, the drawer with all the towels and the wash dishcloths and that, you just straighten them and have areas for your, different things in it, and then you close it. So simple. It's 10 seconds, 30 seconds. It doesn't take long. So I hope that this has been really helpful. Another quote regarding prioritization, Lee Iacocca said, if you want to make good use of your time, you've got to know what's most important. And then give it all you've got. And the important thing about batching and time blocking is that when you're doing this thing, you are focused. This is what I'm doing now for this period of time. And let me share another app that has been super helpful, the Pomodoro app. Have you heard of it? The Pomodoro technique is where you focused work effort for 25 minutes. 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break. And that was an example that there are going to be interruptions in life, in your business, in your life, always. And I have written on my blog, yourhomeforgod.com, about how to make a plan that's a schedule that plans for interruptions. So I encourage you to go and read that. But there are going to be interruptions, and that's why you need margin. You want to focus. When you have a job, a task, focus. You will get way more done. If it doesn't take brain activity, you can have the dishwasher running while you're doing something else. You can have a load of laundry going while you're doing something else. But don't try to do two things that require your mental activity and emotional investment. Stephen Covey says the key is in not spending time, but investing it. So what are you investing your time in? I hope that you are investing wisely. Your life is what happens to us while we're making other plans. That quote has been attributed to a lot of different people. And it was one that my mom used to say years and years ago, and we had a plaque up about it. And perfection doesn't have limits. That was another thing that I had. But at the time, I thought that meant I could strive for perfection. It's arrogance and pride to think that I even know what perfection is. That I could reach it if I could figure it out is additional pride. No, seek progress. And that's how to get over procrastinating perfectionism too. Just do it. Start. Just begin. Don't feel ready? Will you ever feel ready? Don't wait. Do it now. So let me just scan over. I will talk in the next video about outsourcing and when is an appropriate time to hire help. More about, I talked about your children. Children need to know how to work. So it's really, really important that you don't outsource everything, in my opinion. But that is a decision you have to make. However, there's usually enough work that there's still work for them to do. But you need to train them, and you need to train them well. And that is an investment that will reap rewards big time for you and them for life. And such a return on investment in that. So um, I'll talk more about that too. But then when to hire outside help, when to hire a VA, what jobs you can give them, and all of that. That's a whole nother video that I'm going to be doing. So I want to thank you for being here today. And as I said, it's a big topic. So we're going to touch on parts of it every week. And I will see you next time. Thanks for being with me. One last thing. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a thing. And go to yourhomeforgod.com slash 10, the number 10 dash questions to get to subscribe and get my free offer for you as a business person to with 10 questions to identify your ideal client. That's yourhomeforgod.com slash 10, number 10 dash questions. Hope to see you, and there's lots more to share. So thank you for being here. This is Wendy Gunn.